up, YouTube? Dartub coming at you from Bedrock 1.21.4. Today we're going to go over this vertical scrolling shift register. It's a little display I got going on. It's not just shift registers. The ones on top are shift registers, whereas the one on bottom would actually be kind of like the program memory. Nothing is actually written on the top two. I mean, as the bottom one scrolls up, the upper ones will read it and feed up. So yeah, we might have to take a cut of this because it is seriously janky when you put a lot of them together. Like, it's janky enough when it's just one or two of them. All right, with that volume turned down there, I'll show you what I got here. Let's see. If we turn this off, what that does is that disengages the clock. So right here I have a clock, and when the lever that I just turned off is on, this piston extends and it can then go. So like if I push the button now, what happens is this will push out and it'll cycle up there and it'll make everything turn one time, but it will not continue around and keep doing it. So from up front here, if we press the button, you'll notice it scrolls through once. And then if we come over here and flip this lever and then push the button, eventually you'll see that it'll go and it'll just keep going. So then I'll flip this off again, and it takes a moment because it's got to catch up over there. Then you'll notice that I flip this. What this does is this disengages the bottom one from the top ones. So the bottom one no longer spins. See, that's down. That would be up if I didn't flip it. And this comes down from the clock to hit exactly when the top ones hit. But now that it doesn't hit down here, the top ones will scroll. So let's come over and push the button one time, and you'll see the bottom one stays the same and the top ones go ahead and scroll once. Now notice that it read that out, and that's because this reads up into that on a falling edge circuit. So that was already on the line ready to go once it clicked. Now we'll hit it again and you'll notice that there is nothing after that. Boom. So now if we engage the clock, don't engage that, but engage the clock and push the button, it'll just delete the top two rows. And there it is deleting. And when it pushes down again, it'll get deleted. Whereas all four words are still written down here on the very bottom one, which is why it's program memory. All right, now as you'll see, this here is off kilter of that. That's kind of why I color coded the lines like I did. I staggered them back and forth colors until I got to the very end, and then I made that one a separate color. So there will be three separate colors in the ones that I make. And if this had skipped a beat again, then it would look like they were all lined up, but for this, which is why I have the one single strip. If it skips twice, then you know. There are other ways you could pattern them, I'm sure. This is the way I'm going to do it. You'll notice that it happened on both sides, and look at the coordinates. That is a chunk border, okay? And it didn't just happen to that one, it happened all the way down. So yeah, pretty sure it was because it was on the chunk border. I don't think it was because I unloaded it. I think it was because I don't have each of them, how to say it, they're all on the same clock. I engaged and disengaged the clock accidentally, like I pushed this button when the clock was already running, and that could do it. Another thing that could do it, because that takes it off the cycle. Another thing that could do it is you turn the cycle off and then turn it back on. Usually that's not going to happen, but if it just so happens to coincide with right when the signal hits that block, then you flip it in the middle of it, then what you're going to get is possibly a shorter, it could throw the timing of it off. Anyway, let's build it. So first we're going to start with the shift registers. They can be upgraded to make the other one. They're the simpler form of the two, so I'm starting with it. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is going to be the height of your feed tape. You're going to bring it 1, 2 like that, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Put another one right here. Break that. And then I'm going to go ahead and color code it. And once again, you'll see I staggered the pattern all the way around, and at the very end had a different color. Now I am using waxed oxidized copper, I'm using waxed copper on all of them. Otherwise, they will all eventually be oxidized, and it won't matter that you color coded. Now, if you want to follow along with me, I am going to do the 5x9 displays and just add them together like you saw at the beginning. So 2, 3, 4, 5 like that, and we're just going to bring them all out the same. So from this point, we're going to do one section, and you're going to take it all the way down to the rest of this. Okay, so right here, what we want is pistons pointing in here, and then we want to come over here and put a block to stop that from pushing, because this cannot push that. And then we're going to have, it's going to push this way, and then it's going to push down this way, so not this direction, but facing down. Right there. Okay, so like that, and then follow this down, and right here, this is going to need another removable block. And when it gets down here, it pushes that way, so we then need our regular piston right here. And it's going to push over here. This has to stop right here, so we're just going to go ahead and put that there. And then we can take that one out. Right here is where we're going to want it pointing up like that. Right here, this is where World Edit shines. You just pick the selection, copy, over, paste, 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 paste. Next, what we're going to do is make our reset line. So this is going to be copied all the way around too. So we're going to come out like this with one down. We are then going to place our comparator here with a sticky piston and observer here facing the direction that I'm putting them, like that. And then this here goes all the way down. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over in these top pistons. We're going to place dust right on top of those. And these top pistons right here, dust right on top of those. Next, we're going to come down below, and these ones can't get dust right on top of them. So we're going to come down like this, and we're going to bring this along. And I'm color coding these different colors because to run them next to each other, these are the lines you have to run with other lines on the next one to tile them. So right there, and then I'm going to use a different color right here, and it just makes it easier to tell which lines are which when you've got it all sitting there together. Now we're going to come down around to what is to be the front, and we're going to take solid blocks, and we're going to run them along here and along here. And then I'm just going to do one from here on out and copy them over. You can do one here and one here. And so this reads this bottom one, this reads that. So we want to read every one of these. So that gets read through. Yeah. So we'll just do this number here all the way up like that. And we'll take and place a comparator on top of each of these, reading out from the copper bulbs. And this here reads through that piston. It reads this copper bulb just like it would if this piston was a full block. And now that we're at this point, we go ahead and come over to the front and start our screen. You're going to put your sticky pistons like this. You can go ahead and place a row across like this, and then all the way up to where it lines up with here, and that should be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and go ahead and fill that in. Now for the face of these, I like to use something that's somewhat clear with a determined outline. Like you can see the outline on this, right? But you can't see any outline on this. So if you use that and you're at the wrong angle, you won't see them push out at all. But with the outlines there, these wool here are just a variant of the stone, the smooth stone texture. And so the smooth stone texture works just fine. But yeah, something with a good outline like gold or iron or diamond. So this is the nuts and bolts of your shift register done. I'm going to show you how to run it through a cycle. And before I do that, I am going to first put one next to it so you can also see while I'm running the cycle exactly how to run the cycle when you're tiling them together. Because these two, you can cycle them from out here and they're just fine. But once you get 3 and 4 and 5, you have to kind of cut in between them. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the empty spaces here and make this a proper screen. So if you come in on the side, you'll notice that this space is gone. So this is going to have to be where you cycle from first. It pushes this, so that's 1. This one pushes second, that's 2, that's 3, and this down here is 4. Now that is important to remember as we go. And the rule of 3 with pistons and bedrock is that once this pushes, you need 3 ticks before this can push. Okay, so let's see, down here, these ones are not going to need a repeater on them, but we will say, so let's connect them right there. Let's run some dust on them. And we will run into them with a repeater. But this is where the whole thing's going to start. So this repeater not only powers those, but it also powers these, and these down here, which means that it doesn't count as a repeater in the cycle. So we'll go ahead and bring this out, and again, just to have that there. We're then going to go ahead and grab a color to differentiate this. You don't have to have a separate color, but this is one of the things that when I'm looking in between here, it helps. I know the orange, the blue, the purple down there, and then the red up here, that these are all their own separate lines. Okay, so with all those there, I'll go ahead and right here, we're going to put, this is our first repeater of the cycle, and it's on 3 ticks. So that's 3 ticks, and then let's see, we'll come down here, make sure this is a slab, and that's a slab, or they can be glass, but they cannot be a full block, otherwise they will power the copper bulbs. Now we can place our next repeater in the cycle. So that's 1 3-tick repeater, 2 3-tick repeaters. And then we're going to have to run this one at 3, but you're not going to bring it from up there. You got to bring it from out here. So that means that we're going to have to bring 3 more. Let's see, where am I going to put this guy? Yeah, so I'll put that there and there. I can put a 3-tick repeater here, 2, 3. That's just 1. We need 2 more to feed this guy down here. And then we're gonna, let's see, that there. Yeah, so 1, 2 here. And then this will be dust. And then 1, 2, both on 3 ticks. And that's 1, 2, 3, 3-tick repeaters. So that makes this the 4th in the cycle. Now, this is going to power all of them in time. Let's place dust the rest of the way up here. Now we got to connect this guy to this guy here. And we may just use regular blocks. Let's see. Yeah, we can do this number and then just replace with slabs when necessary. Let's see, necessary right there, it looks like. And that may be it. So yeah, dust here and dust here and dust here. And it's not a shift register if it can't read. We're going to read right here on the bottoms with a monostable circuit, which is going to be made of a sticky piston and an observer. So, or sticky piston, yeah, facing up like this, with the observer right there underneath each of these bulbs here. So if you are going to then make this one right up to the next one, what we'll do is put a torch here into a block up. We'll put that out here, and it will go into a sticky piston like this. There's going to be a repeater giving power to it, and then you'll have an observer pointing up like this. And then that right there will just feed right into this piston here. And this is what it would look like right before you put the other ones on top. And with my selection made, I'm going to come right down here, this very spot, and I am going to copy this. And then I'm going to go up right to here. I'm going to come over here one. Yep. And I am going to paste this. And it goes right up into, now if we did this right, this should be 6 blocks from this. So that's, if you count them, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And since the very bottom one that I had is feeding this all, it doesn't necessarily have to get fed from the bottom any closer than this. So what I like to do for more storage, the best storage you can get is 13 copper bulbs down, 13 copper bulbs over, 13 copper bulbs up. And the reason that it can go 13 when they can only push 12 is because they're only pushing 12. There's always an empty block, which would mean that if you do the full 13 by 13, you wouldn't necessarily need the obsidian, but I'm going to put it down here with the obsidian anyway, just to signify that yes, this is where the obsidian would be if it were any smaller. Because if it were any smaller, you would need that obsidian. So I'm not sure if anyone noticed the inconsistency, but I totally missed the obsidian on the very top here. And you'll see I kept the same pattern all the way around. And just like above, we'll go ahead and color coordinate these. And now that the nuts and bolts of this are in here, we're going to go ahead and show how you would cycle these right in between. So 3 ticks on that, just like the last. All these are going to be 3 ticks, and everything up against these bulbs is going to be a slab or glass. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 3 ticks on that. And down here, I'm going to put 1 up and 1 here. 3 ticks here. I'm going to put a block here and a block here. Over here, I'm going to put a block here and a block here. And we will run this all the way down to there. At this point, we'll put a repeater here, 3 ticks. Dust this all the way down to here. And then 2 repeaters, both on 3 ticks. Now we want to take power from this block right here and bring it up here. So we're going to go ahead and just do a column here and a column here. Now it's time to come down and start dusting this. So we'll put dust here and dust here. Now this has to be class. And this as well. We can break these two. Dust on these two. Break these. Class. And we're going to do this all the way up until we run into something. And as you can see, when we get up here, that's not quite going to work. So we're going to put this there. So let's break that. Let's see, put our block here and our repeater on 3 ticks here. And then that works just fine. And that's 11 down. And the next thing we want to do is we want to run power to that, hitting this and this at the same time, coming off of a clock. And to cycle this clock, each complete cycle is 12 ticks. You got this one goes, actually, each cycle is nine ticks, but you want to give 3 from the time this one fires to the time that one fires, which means that it's going to be a cycle of 12 because you have to wait 3 ticks after the cycle to restart the next cycle. So it's a 12 tick cycle. I've noticed if you put too many of these together, they do not want to read. Off to the next one. And the only, the very next number in the cycle would be to double it. So the cycle is 24. And with a cycle of 24 ticks, it seems to read to the next one just fine, or right to the next one. So first we're going to go ahead and connect this one to up there. Bring one out here, one out here. May have to come out a little bit more for that there. So we'll just do this number. So we know we're out past there. Same thing here. We'll just step up until we're out past it there. And we'll connect them up like this. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is likely, yeah, this is going to go up. And then do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, okay. So just like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And you can see I towered up this side. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So this doesn't quite reach over here, does it? What we can do is we can connect both of those. That goes into those with a tick. And then this goes into those. This should be on. Yeah, that should be on 1 tick. So what we've got to do is bracket these two. So that means that we'll go ahead and run into both of them on the same tick. And so we can then run into this guy too. And then we can just connect them. So we'll dust this up. And as long as we hit right here on this line with our clock, everything should be good. So what I'm going to do is somewhere along this line, I'm going to come out, I believe 4. So 2 blocks by 4 blocks. And then we're going to take and put repeaters. All these are on 4 ticks. 4, 4, 4. Dust here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is our clock. Now to be able to engage our clock, we need to move this block in and out. Right there, we're going to have a sticky piston with our block on it. And when we turn that sticky piston on, the clock is engaged. Yeah, more like that. And then we'll put another sticky right here. And then on that sticky, we will place an observer. And it is going to be facing this direction because it's going to flash somewhere along this redstone line. We could have put it back here just as easily and had it run into this block. But it's more accessible on this side if it's over here. So it is now that this dust will run a cycle and this dust will engage the clock. And if you start a cycle with the clock engaged, you start the clock. So what we're going to do here is going to be different than on the one you saw. And the reason for this is because we don't have this orange bracketed with another one over here, which means there's not a line connecting this one with the next one. So we don't have the space we need down here to lock this one out. So to lock this one out, what we're going to do, we're going to come over here, there. Will that work? Actually, yeah, it will. We'll just have to put this here, dust that. Now, if we remove this block, it will there we go. And now if we remove this block, you are going to disengage the bottom one, which is the program memory. Like that. So I am not going to run the lines up front. I am just going to put the switch, the button, and the switch to show you that's the bottom one engaged. This is the clock engaged. Now if I hit this, they should all start moving. Now we have nothing on the program memory, so the screens aren't going to show anything. But as you see, it cycles together. Now, you got to be careful about this. The only one you want to flip when it's cycling is this, and you want to turn it off and wait for the cycle to end. So next comes the programming, which I leave up to you. These screens that I made are 7 by 5, so any letters that you make will be 7 by 5. Remember that they are inverted on this side. So I'm just going to make a quick S. And a quick T. And then basically we can put anything we want. And it is going up. So let's turn this on and just watch from the front. I don't have much on there. You'll see it skips 1 and then it passes up. Now if you have the right function on a leading edge, it will not work right. Basically there won't be a line in between this word and that word. So as you see, it goes all the way up. And since I only put 2.5 letters on there, not even 2.5, 2 letters in a line, whereas I put enough program memory on there to, I believe, hold 6 letters. Might only be 5, I'm not sure. But that's as big as you can expand this puppy on this specific design anyway. It's going to start reading here really soon. There we go. And I've got it stopped here. We're going to go ahead and engage the cycle with the bottom one disengaged. So let's disengage the program memory. Let's engage the clock. And then let's start the clock. You'll notice that now it is going to erase the top 2 while leaving the bottom one where it is. Alright, if you like this video, go ahead and leave a like. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, been real.